I never had any plans of going out and doing it that quick. Just sort of let it go as it comes, and it just happened that way. It just happened that way, really.
Seemed calm.
Callum Johnson from the small port of Boston. He's part of Joe Gallagher's Manchester stable, of course.
I remember at the start here, and I threw 3 left hooks, and I remember then, I knew I wasn't going to struggle with the range.
Really?
I just knew then that.
You found it straight away?
Yeah, I found the range straight away. I can't really remember too much about this part. Again, it just happens. It just happens naturally.
Didn't land many, did he?
No, he catched him with a good right hand here. But again, in the fight, I never felt that there. I can remember there. I thought I've got him there. I buzzed him. Didn't realise I'd hurt him probably as much as I might have done. But I knew I'd buzzed him.
Relentless though, you're not stopping.
Yeah, no, I was there.
Yeah.
So I'll come in here, and I can remember throwing a couple of right hooks there round the side, and I knew I had to change the angle on the right hook because he was blocking them. And I think when I changed the angle on the right hook, that's the one that dropped him. There, look, coming around the side, and he's blocking, so I'll change the angle there, that's it.
When you say change the angle, is it?
Yeah, it's come up and over the top. I remember,
you see his legs at this point?
yeah, this part, I can remember seeing him there thinking he's in trouble, and I remember hearing Joe saying to me, he's done, Cal, he's done. And I just went out, and I just knew I'd just go out and finish him off. And this part, can't remember any of that part as such other than just finishing him off, do you know what I mean?
And that moment there?
This moment there was like, as you see, I was very excited. But then when I stopped, like this moment here, I can remember thinking, oh, has he actually stopped it? And it was like, I didn't know if he actually stopped it or not. And then I realised he had, obviously. And I think I just went on a mad one there. I think I was shouting to everyone there, I'm the man, I'm the man. Just shouting to the crowd, I'm the man. I lost the plot. As you noticed before the fight, you didn't see me saying this or that, or just kept myself quiet, kept myself to myself. And all I know is all I have to do is concentrate on myself. And if I'm right, I know I'm capable of beating most people. So I'm not into that talking this or talking that and saying I'm going to do this or do that, because at the end of the day, none of it means nothing. You know what I mean? And the only thing that matters is what you're doing there. So all the talking, like Frank did beforehand, even though he was pretty respectful most of the time, it didn't mean nothing, did it? So I'm not one for that talking and saying I'm going to do this and do that. And one, in case you don't. Do you know what I mean? There's always that little chance you don't, and I don't want to be stood. I don't want to be there one day, after a fight, thinking, oh my God, what was I saying before? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I didn't do any of it, But I suppose it's part and parcel of the game as well, isn't it? You have to sell it a little bit, or What, mate?
Are you on telly now?
No, mate.
How long?
This it going out live. It's going out live. This on Sky Sports News.
Wow.
Do you want to get in it?
No.
Do you want to say hello, Sky Sports?
No. No.
No, I'm only joking. All right then, calm down.
So I think, did you say you promised to bring him the belt home? Was that?
Yeah, I told him. Yeah, I told him because he kept saying to me, "Dad, will you bring the new belt home?" And I said, "But what if you don't? He said, "What if you lose?" So I won't lose, mate. Don't worry about that. And then before I left, he said, "Please bring that belt home for me, Dad." And I promised him. I said, "I promise you, I'll bring you that belt home." And a big grin on his face then. But
And the pressure's on.
yeah, but I didn't. Do you know what? I was so confident. You know what I mean? I didn't even sort of. Again, that doubt creeps in a little bit sometimes, because I kept visualising taking the belts to my dad's grave, and I'd be there 2 or 3 weeks before, and I was thinking, I can't wait to come Sunday morning and just lay them belts there. And then it did. The odd time it did creep in. Oh, shit! What if something goes wrong? But then again, as soon as it comes in, I just knocked it straight out, and I thought it can't go wrong. Do you know what I mean? It can't go wrong. And I don't know. It's amazing what. Obviously, you have to have the ability as well and the talent to do it, but the power of positivity and self-belief is massive. It's massive. And as I said to you before, I don't shout about I'm this, I'm that, or I am very confident in my own ability. Do you know what I mean? And I always have been. I'm a shy kid, to be fair. I think that's why I don't say too much on Twitter and interviews, and I'm not into that confrontation, you know, sort of back and forth. Frank's messaged me a couple of times with certain things he's going to do, and I've ignored it. I haven't replied or anything because I'm not into confrontation. It's not in my makeup. I feel uncomfortable doing all that. But all like I say, I know when I step inside them ropes, you know, I'm as game and as tough as anybody. So I don't need to do all that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You know.
I think, like, thinking back to when you turned pro, we'll talk about the amateurs later, but you were signed with Warren, and your manager was Prince Nazim.
Yeah.
I was reading some of the comments. It was like, you're the next big thing in boxing. You're going to be a world champion within 3 years.
How wrong was he?
As a shy kid, were you sort of taken in by it all?
Yeah, a little bit. I did think, you know, when he was saying them things, like in my head, I'm thinking, oh, calm down a bit. You know what I mean? Like, but Naz is Naz, isn't he? You have to leave him to it. And it was good at the time. It was good because he created a lot of hype and a lot of press and everything else. But like you say, I didn't. You know, obviously it's that same thing, innit? I mean, that never happened. I mean, how daft, if I'd have been saying the same things, how daft would I have looked? You know what I mean? Like I say, things don't work out the way you think they might or want them to. And at the end of the day, my career's not gone anything like I thought it would to start, or as quick as it would. It's going how I thought it would as such, but a lot longer. Yeah, it's taken a lot longer to get there. But like I say, the better late than never, as I say, don't they? You know what I mean?
How did that all come about with Naz?
Mutual friend, really. I've got a friend, a kid called Perry. He's good friends with Naz, and we introduced like that. We introduced, met him, and he spoke about wanting to get into managing, and you know me, I'm thinking, Naz, man, he wants to manage me. You know what I mean? What's all this about? And I thought at the time, I thought it'd be good for, like I say, for the publicity side of things and everything else, and it was. And that's really what it was, more of a publicity kind of stunt, if you like, than managerial. Do you know what I mean? It was more of a, you know, publicity-wise, and Naz coming back in, Naz coming back into the game, and everybody did get excited about it. Yeah, but it didn't work out. You know, no fault of mine or Naz's, but you know, it just didn't work out for one reason or another. Like I say, the first 3 years of my career didn't work out, again, through no fault of my own, but stuff, like you say, things like that happen, and you just have to sort of move on and forget about it, do you know what I mean?
If you think about your amateurs, that went brilliantly well, and got the gold medal for Scotland.
I thought, you know, when that happened, I thought that was it then. See, that was my probably naivety, or I thought, I've done this, you know, I'm turning pro. Yeah, it's all going to happen for me now. like as if I was owed it. You know what I mean? You're owed nothing in sport, you know, especially boxing. And you know, you don't realise until you actually get in the game that it's how tough it is and how hard it is, you know, and the business side of it, and how it just doesn't go smoothly. And you know, they call it professional boxing, but sometimes it's not as professional as like the top level amateurs. Do you know what I mean? And it's just an hard game. Mentally, physically, and like business-wise. So, but as I say, it's like life, innit? Life's hard, and at the end of the day, if you feel sorry for yourself when things don't go right in life, you don't get anywhere. And I think that's what I did a little bit in boxing. I felt sorry for myself because it didn't go how I wanted it to go, and it sort of held me back a bit. Yeah, you know. So I think when I finally let the past go and got on with the future, my career started taking off again. And then obviously, I had the stumbling block of what happened with my dad, and that obviously, you know, made things again harder. But I got back in the ring very quickly. I got the Commonwealth title fight, you know, that was a big thing. I was like a man possessed after my dad passed. You know, back in the gym, back in the ring. And then I got that title fight, and it was like I had to do it for him. Do you know what I mean? And in hindsight, it was probably the worst thing I ever did, because when I won the title, it did me in. I'll be honest. I didn't enjoy it. It sort of made everything, reality really sunk in. You know, he wasn't here and he's not coming back. And I sort of 1 minute, mate. Okay, mate. I'll catch you in a bit. I was, yeah, it's like it wasn't real. I always thought he'd come back, if you know what I mean. I was training and I got back in the ring, I had that fight, and I had the second fight.
By doing that, you kind of blocked it out?
Yeah, it's like I never faced it. I never faced up to the reality of what had actually happened. You know, it's strange, but I really did feel as though it'd all be over soon, and I'll see him again. And then when I won that title, and I was like, a couple of days passed, and I thought, he's not here to share this. He's been with me from day one. You know, he's a man that got me to this position, if you like. Obviously, I've had other coaches, and obviously Joe Gallagher's my coach as a professional, and he's learnt me a hell of a lot. But I'm on about just in life and in my early days and my amateur days, and without my dad, I'd never have been doing it, and he wasn't there, and it really stung. And to be honest, I went through a real bad time. And you know, a time that I never want to go there again. But you know, I think, so, as I say, you know, tough times make you stronger in the end when you come through them, and tough times don't last, as I say, and tough people do. And I think what I went through will help me not only in boxing, in life in the future. And you know, there's obviously talks about before this fight, and I was hearing off people, oh, Frank's saying this, Frank's saying that in the interviews, and oh, he's just trying to get inside your head. And you know, I said, there isn't a man that can ever get inside my head. You know, with what I've been through over the last 18 months and what I've dealt with and what I've come through, there isn't a human being that can ever get inside my head. You know, and that's why it didn't bother me. You know what I mean? That's why the pressure of it all sort of wasn't there, if you like. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel it. I don't feel pressure anymore, or say mind games or anything like that. How can you be worried about getting in the boxing ring to fight another man when I fought the demons I fought? You know, because I've been in a bad place, but I'm out of it now. I say I'm out of it. I learned how to live with it and learned how to deal with it, if you like. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I'm finally at peace as well. Finally at peace. You know, I enjoyed that belt, and I know my dad's happy. I know what I've done. He'll be smiling, and that pressure's gone there as well with my dad's side of it. I promised him that I'd do that. You know, the day I buried him, I said to him, I'm going to go and win the British and Commonwealth titles for you. And I've done it, so that's lifted. He always told me and thought I could be a world champion. You know, and hopefully one day I prove him right. But you know, if I never do prove him right on that one, it's not the end of the world, because not everybody can be world champion, can they? But you know, I never promised him I'd do that. I just promised him I'd try. Do you know what I mean? And so, and again, I will try. That's well, yeah. Like you say, that's what I am aiming to do. You know, to get that world title shot and maybe one day lift that world title. But listen, it's a tough ask, innit? You know, I'm not deluded, but at the same time, I do believe I am capable of doing it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. You were saying earlier, just off camera, that like, with what you've won, and you're saying your dad's your hero, and you're just saying how your son's really enjoying. Yeah. And it's great for you as well. So just tell us a bit about that. I see his face, his smile, and when he's carrying them belts, and he's watching me on YouTube all the time, and that gives me great satisfaction to see how proud he is of me. You know, and he's probably not half as proud of me as I am of him. You know what I mean? But he don't realise that yet. He don't realise how proud I am of him yet. He'll realise as he gets older and he gets his own kids maybe. But as a parent, to be able to sort of do what I'm doing now, and for my 9-year-old boy to watch me on telly, that's my dad. He can go to school with the belts with his chest out, and all the kids are talking about his dad. You know, that's brilliant. That gives me great satisfaction, and that's one of motivations as well, you know, to sort of do it for him, you know, because obviously my dad was my hero, and I thought my dad was the man, you know what I mean, growing up, and I always did think he was a man. So I can imagine what he's thinking like now when he goes to school and his dad's a British and Commonwealth champ, and he's, I don't know, I bet he comes out with some shit when he's at school. Because I know, I used to, my dad would beat your dad up. Yeah, we all did that at school, didn't we? Hey, I'll get my dad, and I'll get my dad. Yeah, well, my dad will beat yours.
And I think you said you went on the pitch at Lincoln City.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, I took him round there. You know, I think there was 7,000-8,000 people clapping and cheering. And again, you know, he loves football, and to be walking around the footy pitch, you know, with the belts and everyone's clapping and cheering, and to see the smile on his face doing that. Again, memories to last a lifetime, and to be able to do that for my kid, it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? That gives me more satisfaction, I think, than actually winning it. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, I'm a big family man. Everything I do, and everything I really care about, it's all about my family. So my kids, my missus, and my mum, really, my sisters as well, but just a little bit of my sisters. They get on my nerves. They get on my nerves a bit, but yeah, that's it, really. It's just, it was all added motivation, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's every little thing in my life gives you that little bit of extra. You know, it helps. You know, them mornings when you feel, oh, I can't be bothered this morning. But you think, well, I've got to, because I need to do it for him, or I need to do it for him, or I need to do it for her, or do you know what I mean? And just makes it that little bit easy to get out of bed. You know, so.
What's the reaction been like in the local community?
Massive. Yeah, it's a small town. It's. I've been very well known in the town from younger days anyway. Like I say, it always knows, oh, Callum the boxer, he's doing well, and even before like the Commonwealth Games and things like that, it was always, hey, getting on, Callum, read you in the paper. But then obviously with the Commonwealth Games, it sort of blew up, you know what I mean? It proper blew up. And I was like the local hero, if you like, or the local celebrity. And it died down. It died down a bit. Then obviously when I won the Commonwealth title, it lifted a bit again. Maybe it lifted more than I realised, but I wasn't sort of in any
frame of mind.
Yeah, I never had the frame of mind to sort of see what was really going on around the town. But this since this British title fight, it's gone mad. It's gone mad as it's not. That's nice. You know, the old town's like got behind me and supported me, and I think again, like I think the old town again was having the same thoughts of what probably the country was, like doubting, like, oh, will he beat Frank with a timeout? Is he good enough to compete at this level, you know? And I think I pleasantly surprised a lot of people in the town, do you know what I mean? And the town was buzzing, you know what I mean? Still are buzzing. And I think they're looking forward to the next one, do you know what I mean? Because, like I say, I think they all know as well that it'll be a lot quicker next time they see me in the ring. I'm not going to sort of go on the missing list again like last time. And like I say, I'm looking forward to the next year, 18 months as well, to see what it holds. But as I say, I think the town, looking forward to more belts coming. I'm certainly looking forward to bringing some more.
Is that the plan now, to stay active?
Yeah, I want to be active now. I want to be. I'd like to get another 2, at least 3 fights, even if I got lucky, get 3 this year, but 2 at least. You know what I mean?
You got dates penciled in?
Well, there's talks of June the 16th. Nothing's set in stone yet. I've had nothing confirmed, but June the 16th there's talks of. Or I think there's a show again in the O2 in July. That I'd like to go there again because I enjoyed that. You know, it'd be nice to go back there. But yeah, I'd like to be out June or July, and then again September, October, whatever, and then see how it goes. Obviously, if we get another quick one like that, I could probably get out a bit quicker. But you know, just stay active now, and keep trying to climb them rankings a little bit.
So what's the setup with you? Do you stay in Manchester when you've got a fight coming up, or do you travel from here to Manchester?
No, I stay up. I've got a room up there, so as I say, getting to camp, I normally start my camp at home. I'll do 2 or 3 weeks here, just fitness, building up, bit of conditioning and what have you. Then I'll start going up to Manchester. Normally with about 7-8 weeks to go before the fight, and then I'll stay up there, you know, 3-4 days, and then as I get closer, there's about 4 weeks left, I'll stay out there Monday to Friday, you know, for the proper sparring, and obviously work with Joe and tactics and everything else. And it works for me because, as I said, you know, I like to be at home with my family as well. You know, I miss my family, and I like to be at home. But it's sacrifice you got to make. Do you know what I mean? You got to make these sacrifices. You know, I'm not luckily enough. You know, I'm from Boston. It's a small town, and it's not here. It's not here for us. Do you know what I mean? We have to travel. I've always had to travel. But I was lucky enough when I was younger, my dad travelled with me. He took me everywhere I needed to be. You know, day in, day out. He was there. And again, I know I've said it before, but if it wasn't for my dad being there for me the way he was, I would never have done it, because I wouldn't have got to where I needed to be in terms of training and everything, and getting the knowledge I needed. So
did he introduce you to boxing?
Yeah, I remember punching the pads with him, you know, back at home when I was 7, 8 year old, 9 year old. Dad did a bit of boxing himself, so just one of them things. He used to play about with him as a kid, punching his hands, and used to drop the odd one downstairs. And
That's it.
But yeah, and then I was just saying, I want to go to the boxing gym, Dad. And I was never old enough, so I went to a karate class. Did a bit of karate for a while till I was old enough to go boxing. And yeah, just went from there, mate. It just sort of natural progression. Never really dreamt of do stuff like this. You know, you don't, do you, when you're a kid? I didn't even know professional boxing existed.
Yeah, it was just the thing to do.
Yeah.
At a young age.
I remember I packed in for a few years, 2 or 3 years. I packed in. I went back when I was about 15. And I remember my first fight back. I was back in the ring with about 2 weeks. I got stopped. Oh mate, yeah, fitness. I done about 30 seconds. I was hanging. I remember the ref got stopped in the second round, but that was the best thing that ever happened to me at the time, because I started training then. You know what I mean? I thought, I don't want that to happen again. And I got back in and I lost that one. Then I won a couple. And I lost a couple, and I won a couple, and I thought, I'm getting sick of this. I don't want to lose any more. You know what I mean? And I just started training even harder and harder. From about 16 really. And I went on a run then. I think I won about 15, 20 fights on the bounce. And I sort of just turned that corner where I just like, and I got to the final of the championship, got beat in the final, devastated, crying my eyes out all the way home. 16 years old and I was crying. And then I went in the championship a year later, again I got beat in the final again. Didn't cry that time though, I held it in. But then the next one I won. So, like I say, then I started boxing internationally for Scotland.
Yeah, how come you chose Scotland?
Well, basically, what happened was I just never ever got picked for England. Really? You know, when I turned 18, I went in the senior ABAs. At the time, Sam Webb was British #1. I beat Sam Webb. Yes, I thought, well, I've got to get picked now. You know what I mean? I've just beat the main guy. You know, I still never got picked. And so it was just one of them things. We thought, you know, I had Scottish grandparents. And my dad said to me, you know, you could probably fight for Scotland, you know, if you want international boxing. Because at the time it was either turn pro, you know, when I probably wasn't really ready to turn pro, or go down the Scottish route, because I wasn't getting a look in England. And that's what I did, and went from there. And
it's another level of experience.
Yeah, like you say, that's what it was. It took me to a next level as well.
You're captain of the Scottish
team, the first time I ever boxed for Scotland, they made me captain, which was nice. You know, a nice welcoming. And then I was obviously captain at the Commonwealth Games. But yeah, the England-Scotland thing, it's just the way it went. You know what I mean? Sometimes things, again, you just have to go. You have to knock the doors down whichever way possible. And for me, to get international boxing and international experience at the time, I had to go the Scottish way. It wasn't happening for me. And it turned out well in the end, because you know I beat some of the best in the world, and I won the Commonwealth Games, and I proved myself to be a top international boxer. So yeah, it worked out well. You know, and I've always got a little bit of a soft spot for Scottish boxing. Do you know what I mean? With obviously, because I was a Scottish international boxer at the end of the day, and that's where I'd done it. So
it's nice to be on the Ricky Burns.
Yeah, that was my debut, wasn't it?
Was in Scotland,
it was. I remember watching him. I watched him win the world title against Martinez, wasn't it? Was it Martinez? What's his name? The guy who went off super. I remember being there. Was it the Kelvin Hall? It's called something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember watching him win the world title. It was before the Commonwealth Games. I was up in Scotland on a training camp, and we went to watch him. like I say, 3-4 months later down the line, I was making my debut, you know, on his first defence. So that was nice. It was good, that. And yeah, it's just, I would say, I've always got a little bit of a soft spot for Scottish boxing, and I class myself as English. Don't get me wrong, you know what I mean. But when boxing concerned, I've classed myself. I'm British at the end of the day. I class myself as British, but I have got a soft spot for the Scots boxing as well. You know what I mean? I always keep my eye on the lads that are getting on, and I keep in contact with them on social media. And you know, at the end of the day, I've got Scottish boxing. I owe them a lot. I owe them a lot of thanks for giving me the opportunity to prove what I've proved. You know, so I've always got that little soft spot for them.
What about the Gallagher gym? So tell us a bit about that. How good's that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, the lads that are there, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? The results speak for itself. But how it come about, how me getting there, you know, I was training with my dad when I first turned pro, and he said to me, you know, we need to sort of get a proper professional coach, because I said, well, why you train me? You know what I mean? You've trained me for the last 5 years, do you know what I mean? You got me a Commonwealth Games gold medal. What? He said, yeah, but we need to, you know, I don't know anything about the pro game, and that's a good thing that my dad always, you know, he always knew that. He never had an ego or I know it all or anything. Yeah. And he said, yeah, I know, we need to sort of find a good professional coach and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, mate, there wasn't really, I remember watching Crawler against John Watson, and I was really impressed with that performance and everything else there. So I knew about Joe Gallagher, and then I was at a dinner, and Joe Gallagher and Crawler and a few of the lads were on the top table, and I was also on the top table as well. You know, I was at a Carl Greaves promotion. Nothing ever got mentioned there about like training with him, but I said to my dad, I said, I fancy having a look at Joe Gallagher, seeing what their gym's like. So I sort of messaged Joe and everything, and it just went from there. We went to meet Joe, we did a training session, you know, and I thought, wow, he knows his stuff, do you know what I mean? I enjoyed that. And I think he thought the same as well. I think he thought, yeah, I like the looks of Callum, he looks the part. And yeah, we went from there, and I just, ever since. And like I say again, it's a shame it's took so long, but you know, I'm pleased that I finally, you know, won that British title for him, to sort of pay him back, if you like, for sticking by me through all the hard times. And you know, Joe's been singing my praises since day one, really, telling people how good I am, and finally proved him right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because there's been times when, you know, I have sort of just disappeared for a couple of months here and a couple of months there, and he's probably thought, oh, fucking hell, where's he gone again? Do you know what I mean? But like I say, he's stuck by me, he's always believed in me, and like I say, he knows how tough it's been for me. You know, at the end of the day, coming from here, having to make that journey, having to be away from my family, dealing with what I've had to deal with, you know, physically and mentally. So he's always stuck by me, and you know, like I say, it's nice to pay him back with finally, you know, winning that British title, and you know, added another one. I think he's won 11 now, has he, as a coach, something like that.
Most of the fighters now, all had it, haven't they?
I think the board should give him one, to be fair. He's won that many, hasn't he? Hey.
British coach, quite good, isn't it?
I think he deserves one. So if anybody from the boxing board are watching this, get Joe Gallagher a belt. Going to hashtag that later on Twitter.
Get Joe a belt.